Welcome to my home studio. I'm looking forward to getting back into our TV studio for our classes for you for art and imagination. Good morning. Welcome. Come on in. It could be afternoon for all I know where you're at, but it's morning to me. But I'm happy that you're here anyway. We're going to be working still in watercolor this session, but we're going to change it up from paper to a canvas. And I've got an 18 by 24 canvas here, and we're going to do a vegetable still life. And we've got an eggplant over here and some onions, and there you go, a lemon and a squash. And that's going to be our still life. And if you'll notice the colors in there, the purples and the yellows and the oranges, and the still life is laying on a black table, and you can see the shadows of the vegetables. And that's what we're going to paint. We're going to put that table into our 18 by 24 piece of work, or whatever size that you're working on. And so, but I wanted to go to the color chart to show you that the reason I chose this particular still life of vegetables is because we have the violet, being the eggplant, and then if you will go straight up into your color wheel, across from it is its color that's opposite of the purple, and it's yellow. So, and then we have the orange, and we're going to put a little bit of blue in there, so we're going to be doing some blues in there on that particular eggplant and everything. So we're going to keep it totally color coordinated, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So this is how I'm going to set up my canvas to get started so that I can draw the canvas, or the still life, pardon me, by sight. So I'm going to go in whatever piece of paper that you have, or if you have a canvas that you're working on, you always start with a point in the center so that you have center point on anything. And then when you look at your still life, then you can figure out where your center is. So I'm going to put a dot at the top and a dot at the bottom. And at the sides, I'm going to keep it within that dot, so that I'm going to work within that realm. So first of all, I'm going to kind of draw in a stickman fashion, as I have said, that's how I start just about everything. So the center of my interest there is that eggplant, and I'm going to, he's kind of like, the nose of him is kind of down past the center point, and I'm just going to very lightly draw the end of him in. And then and go on up to the back side. And I do it lightly so that I can change, you know, if I don't get this particularly right on, that I can change my lines. And an eggplant has a nice rear end, so to speak. But we're going to stay within our realm, because our tabletop is going to be just above. I'm going to put another dot. That'll be the corner of the table. And then we have a lemon over here that's sitting kind of close, and it's kind of up to the back end of that eggplant. And we can just barely see. And I'm looking down on this. You may be looking at your still life at a different angle. And so go by the angle that you see your still life in and lightly put it in. I'm going a little bit darker because I want you to see my lines as I draw. And as you can see, it's kind of an optical optical in this onion because he's not just straight onto me, and the center is right here in this center of this onion. And you can see that that goes all the way around, close to that eggplant. Then there's another onion sitting up here. And I love these colors together. They are so neat. And it makes for a pretty still life. And this is a pretty big onion over here. And he's kind of sitting sideways, whereas he's got that dry where they've cut him off in the garden. Gonna bring that down. This is just to give me a reference. And I'm making these a little bit smaller maybe, that's okay, because when I get to painting, I may make them larger, because I've got a lot of room in there that I can do that. And we've got these little dried pieces on this onion, which I absolutely love drawing. So I'm gonna put those in there. And I'm noticing my light. Now my light's coming from above, whereas your light source may be coming from a different direction. But you have to follow that light. So, and then we have a squash that's kind of hugging up next to this onion. The neck of him is really laying right next to that onion. And then he's coming out. And he's pretty big too, but I don't have him big enough. So, and the crook of his neck is a little bit larger. Sometimes it takes a couple of times to get it in there, but that's okay. And it's okay to have lines in your watercolor. A lot of judges like to see lines in your watercolor. And we have a lot of work here. Like I said, I may make these a little bit bigger because I got a big piece of canvas here. Keep making it bigger. Now, we've got the core of that eggplant that sits right up there. And he's kind of three-dimensional because it goes down and it comes around. And we just kind of want to put that in there. And then it has these little lines. And then from there, see, it's easy for you to do this if you just follow what you see. And that's the fun part of painting is, and see, I got that too far over there, but I'm going to leave it because I may make my eggplant a little bit bigger when I start to paint. And his whatever you call that, leaf, I guess, comes on around. He's kind of beat up. Can't find an eggplant with a nice looking leaf on him because they throw them around so much, the stores do. And as you can see, or I can see, that I have this up too high. So I'm going to kind of bring this down, and this is how you correct it. And it's okay to goof up. That's why I like to goof up sometimes. It just shows you that even the artist can goof up. Now, I have that all on there. And I have shadows because my light is looking down on my still life. So I want to put those shadows in because next week, or next session, I may not have the same shadows in what I want to draw. So, and the shadows are very, very important. And this goes dark into there. This is kind of light on this lemon. And I've got a light spot right there. I'm going to mark it. It's kind of a round spot. And this part of my eggplant is got really some nice light on it. And it kind of goes up like that and comes down. it takes a little time to get yourself situated on this. And then I see some light on this particular leaf. I'm going to make the leaf edge a little bit darker so I can tell where that light is. And it kind of comes around. It makes it very interesting. Then the top of my eggplant has a spot there of light, and then it changes. It goes over here, the light hitting this eggplant. And we want to put those in because we don't want to shadow over or paint over those spots that are light if we can help it. But we can fix it if you do, so it's not a big problem. So next time we meet, maybe we'll have a big paint in. And I think I want to make this come over a little bit bigger here, because you sometimes have to take a second look at it. And this kind of crooks around, doesn't end there. Now this particular squash has a piece of light there, and of course the top of the onion is white, but we have all this nice orange on this. We're just going to kind of make a kind of the orangey that's the thing that we throw away when we're cooking an onion. And we're going to make those. And this will all be light, and we will put those kind of, I'm going to put in as much detail on this as possible, because like I said, when we start painting, it may not be there. Now we've got to have a horizon line, of which I forgot to put in. But however, I've got the major part of my still life in there that I like so much. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 different vegetables. And we never paint anything with even numbers. As artists, we always paint there's either 3 or there's 5. Or there could be 9 different things within your painting, or your composition, I should say. So we never do anything even. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces there. Plus we're going to go up here and we're going to bring that table in. So that will set my vegetables down. I'm going to go for my dot. And I use my little finger a lot to make my straight line. Just hold that pencil lightly and just bring it on down. And I have to kind of look over. But I'm going to bring that table, even though it may not be there, this way. And then I've got a lot of table here, which I like. And I'm going to bring the tabletop over to this side. I don't care right now if it's straight or uneven, because I just hit I think a bump there. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and do my shadowing. I've got this eggplant shadow, and he goes back up into there. This onion is dark in here. Oh, and this is fun. This is a shadow. So I'm going to put a little S there, a little S there, a little S there. Okay? So that I can tell what that is, because when I start painting, this will be very dark compared to the yellow into this. And once we get to painting, then all these lines will kind of fade a little bit. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put some perspective on this table. And it's got a little bit of a edge there. And then it goes back to where you can't really see except for a little piece of that table coming this way. So it's a two-dimensional piece right there. And I don't have it even, I can see that. But if I wanted to, after I finish this, trying to make the edges straight, I'll take out a ruler and fix it so that it's straight. But for right now, I don't really need to do that. So I'm looking at this also. Now that I've got some table legs. Now this is going to make for a good composition on this 18 by, we're going to fill this up. It's going to look really, really good. And yours will too, no matter what you're painting on. You're going to be putting this on. And then this has a little edge on that table leg too. And it's going back in. And I can't really see this side, but I'm going to bend over here and look at it. Now it's a little bit straighter. We're doing a little bit of modern art on this table leg here. And then you're going to have a leg down here, I'm sure, yes. But it doesn't go all the way down to here. It's going to stop. And of course, we're going to keep this line, and this line the same. Otherwise, you're going to have a goofy looking table. Okay, I'm making a goofy looking table. I got to bring it down to a point here. There, that's better. Now we're going to put the next thing into it. So there we go. So I'm going to make that a little bit darker. Now we won't be able to see that other side of that table. But we're going to make this all dark, and then around here, our all of the space out here, it's called negative space. We're going to fill that in with either a wall or whatever. But we'll fix that when we get there. The main part is I want to start us off on this. So therefore, I'm going to put down my pencil, and I'm going to start with a light, very light first coating of this eggplant. And I'm using purple, and it is very dark. As you can see, this canvas is very, very smooth. And I'm using a light touch, and it's okay. We can fix it if we have hard lines. But on the outside, on this part out here, we want a hard line on that because that's how that eggplant looks. But we're going to put a smooth line going around, and then eventually we will be filling it in. And as you can see, the less water I have in my brush, the less color that I have, which is good. Now we're going to get some clean water. We're going to go back up here, and we're going to pull some of that darker purple down. And of course, I got it into the light, but that's okay. We will fix it. And we'll bring that around there. But we're getting our main subject painted, which I call the eggplant. I like it to be the main part of this picture. This is so much fun, and I hope you're enjoying it too, and I hope you're enjoying me teaching you, because it's so much fun for me to teach you. And again, I'll put in a lot of water, and I'll go back into here. And you know, the eggplant is smooth, but it's not as smooth as we think it could be. But it is smooth, so. Compared to the lemon and the onions, it's smooth. But this is only the first layer. We'll be making it darker as we go along. And we have to watch where we've got our lines. At least I do. I have to really pay attention to what I'm doing. And I like to have some nice music on when I'm doing this. And it kind of calms me. When I'm really like working on a piece of commission, I will always have some nice music on to listen to. Because I can paint to the beat, more or less. I know you can do that too. So this is the beginning of our painting here. And remember I said on our color wheel we're going to have opposites coloring, and that's why I chose this particular color setup, is because I like the purples and the yellows together. It is just so pretty, and I'm going to kind of smooth that out. So now I've got that basic color. Now I'm going to rinse out my brush. Now I'm going into the yellows. I'm first going to do this lemon over here. So I'm going to get a lot of water into my brush. And we're going to put that yellow in there. And some of the lead from the pencil is coming off, which is okay. We'll use that lead as a darkness between the onion and the lemon. So we will have lots of fun. Okay, we got the lemon in. Now we're going to put the squash in. And it's kind of a golden color. No, it's yellow too, but it's a really light yellow. But I'm going to use a different yellow on it, just to have it different. Okay. Now it's going to look the same. And as you notice, I'm leaving those onions till last. So, and it's going to be a little muddy with all that lead on it. But we'll cover that up in our next layer, or the 2 layers after. Watercolor is a layered medium. It takes time, and a lot of times I'll use to get it dry so I can get to my other part of the painting. I will use a hair dryer on it to dry it. But a hair dryer here in the studio is a little bit noisy. So we'll go with what we got. You got to work with what you got. Now you can see that the yellow is different than that yellow on the lemon. Now we're going to have fun. As long as we get this main still life going here, we have it made. And I usually go from light to dark. When I'm painting, I was using the wrong color, so now I have to go in and take all that color out and use my lighter color of gold or yellow, whatever you want to call it. This is my springtime palette here with my brushes. Now, I remember I said that this lemon part was going to, or not lemon, excuse me, the onion part was going to be light up there. So now I'm going to go put in this, I'm not even going to touch the light part, but I'm kind of going to dab in these, what do you call them? I don't know, things that we peel off the onion and part of the onion is kind of dark down here with those paper thin shells that they come in. It's fun to look at something and then paint it. Put some more water in there. And remember, this is my darkest. There we go. I finally got enough pigment in my brush and a lot of water, so it's going to sit on there, and I don't want to move this canvas for a little while till that seeps in. And that's another thing. You got to, if you're using a watercolor paper, you've got to tape it down, because it will buckle on you if you get too much water on it. And that's another reason why I like to use a watercolor canvas, is it doesn't buckle on you. But as long as you get it in close, these little things, it'll be great. I'm not looking for perfection, and I don't think anybody that buys the painting will look for how the shell was on the onion. They just want to know if it's done right, and they can tell what it is. And a lot of times as artists, we leave it up to them to decipher what we're talking about. Okay, there's one onion. Now we'll go over to the other onion. Okay, now this side over here, we're going to kind of loosen it up with the brush. Notice that I'm holding my brush back on the back side of this, back here. Let's see if I can get that. Anyway, I'm using it back here so that I can use it like this or whatever. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. There. And I just loosely just paint that darker color in on that onion. And let's keep it going. I just, I try to put enough pigment in there to get it all together. And this up in here is a lot darker, so we'll put that dark spot in there. And then our little thing has our little stem, as you want to call it. Now there's lines in this particular squash, so I'm going to go up with darker color on my brush and using the tip of my brush, and I'm going with the flow of the squash. Now it's beginning to look like something, isn't it? That's just to appease my soul here of putting that in there, because now I know. And there's this big shadow here, right there, from this onion over here. So, and then this side's gonna be dark because the light's really coming from the top on down. And the top part of the squash is gonna be light. We're down here to give it some dimension. It's gonna be dark. Now I haven't gotten into the green yet, and we're just about getting time to run out of time a little bit. So, but let's get this green part, greenish brown, but I'm gonna make it pretty green for right now. And we're gonna calm it down when we come back again for the next session of Art and Imagination with Janna. We gotta have some green in there someplace. So I hope you've enjoyed this part of the program. And if you have not got a watercolor canvas and you like the looks of it, then go out. Hobby Lobby has them. That's about the only place that I know would carry them. Frederick's canvases used to carry them quite often. So let's see, we got a little bit of green around this squash end also. So looking at this thing, we're happy to have you in the studio with us today, and we're hoping that you'll come back and visit us again. So happy painting and have a good time. God bless all. See you later. Bye-bye. Thank you for being with us. We're having a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to see you back here next time with art and imagination, and remember to keep on painting. Bye for now.